When Muhammad went to Medina, he instructed his followers to observe Ashura as a holy day of fasting, as well as to pray towards Jerusalem. Why did he do that, and what caused him to change his mind later?
Ashura fell on Yom Kippur, Day of Atonement of the Jews, which falls on the 9th day of Tishri, the Hebrew 7th month, and is the 10th of Muharram, the first month in the pagan Arabian calendar. All the ahadith pertaining to the first 16 to 18 months of Muhammad's sojourn in Medina agree that he emulated the Jews both in their fasting on that day, as well as directing his followers to pray facing the direction or Qibla of Jerusalem. Sahih al-Bukhari 3.222, narrated by Ibn Abbas. The Prophet came to Medina and saw the Jews fasting on the day of Ashura. He asked them about that. They replied, "This is a good day, the day on which Allah rescued Bani Israel from their enemy. So Moses fasted this day." The Prophet said, "We have more claim over Moses than you." So the Prophet fasted on that day and ordered the Muslims to fast on that day. On what logical or moral basis did Muhammad claim superiority over Moses than the Jews? Moses, after all, was not from the descendants of Ishmael, but from the line of Isaac. Muhammad's claim was based, like all his other claims, on unfounded and mendacious lines of thought perpetrated upon his ignorant, superstitious, and unlearned followers, who truly believed in their utter innocence his false pretensions that he was the messenger of Allah. The greatest tragedy of all is that even now, hundreds of millions of indoctrinated Muhammadans believe these lies. Sahih al-Bukhari Hadith 3.223, narrated by Abu Musa. The day of Ashura was considered as Eid, as a holiday, by the Jews. So the Prophet ordered, "I recommend you Muslims to fast on this day." Sahih al-Bukhari Hadith 3.224, narrated by Ibn Abbas. I never saw the Prophet seeking to fast on a day more preferable to him than this day, the day of Ashura, or this month, i.e. the month of Ramadan. Sahih Muslim Hadith 2514, narrated by Jabir ibn Samura. The Messenger of Allah commanded us to observe fast on the day of Ashura and exhorted us to do it and was particular about it. But when fasting in Ramadan was made obligatory, he henceforth neither commanded us nor forbade us, nor was he so particular about it. The Quran does not ordain that Muhammadan Muslims should fast on the 10th of Muharram. This is found only in the ahadith. Neither Allah nor Gabriel had instructed Muhammad to do so. Muhammad, after all, decided to fast on the same holy day of the Jews all by himself, without any prodding from Allah or Gabriel. When he realized that the Jews would not accept his false claims to prophethood, he turned violent against them, both physically and in the verses that he put in his Quran as convenient revelations from Allah. The Muhammadan records prove beyond a shadow of a doubt the following conclusions. 1. That Muhammad copied the traditions of the Jews in their holiest day of fasting, called Yom Kippur, which fell on the 10th of Muharram. 2. That Muhammad's first Qibla was likewise directed to the holiest shrine of the Jews, towards the Temple of Solomon in Jerusalem. 3. That Muhammad considered what was holy to the Jews as holy to his followers also. 4. That as far as Muhammad was concerned, the Temple of Solomon and Jerusalem were at that moment of his mission superior to both the Kaaba and Mecca. 5. Muhammad only changed his mind about following the traditions of the Jews when they refused to accept him as their prophet, especially since he wanted to impose his cult belief system upon them. 6. Those so-called believers who are listening to our series must be made aware that during the whole period of Muhammad's life, he prayed in the Kaaba with the polytheists, while it harbored the 360 pagan rock gods of the Quraysh, his own people. That is, he was, till the last year of his life, praying in a house of idolatry, because the only time the Kaaba was cleared from its rock gods was after its conquest by Muhammad a year before he died. From the point of view of monotheism, he was an idolater. 7. Moreover, we would also like to point out to the so-called believers that Muhammad was opposed primarily by his own people, the Quraysh, and rightly so, since it was he who was attacking, insulting, humiliating, and denigrating their religion and beliefs. It was Muhammad, after all, who initiated the war against his own people and not the other way around. Can any follower of Muhammad of today tell us what would happen to any Muhammadan who would attack Islam in public in any Muhammadan state? In fact, the Quraysh were wrong to tolerate Muhammad's aggression against their beliefs. Their act of mercy cost them in the end their subjugation to his cult. Finally, and as we have shown earlier, all the verses in the Quran are the product of Muhammad's own imagination and misunderstanding of the Bible and have absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with any divine being. Muhammad, Allah, Gabriel, and Satan are all manifestations of Muhammad, the sole author of the Quran.